Hi everyone, good afternoon. We'll wait for another couple of minutes in case somebody else joins in, and then we'll get started. In the meantime, guys, are you able to see me and are you able to hear my voice? Please confirm on the Q&A portal or the chat window and let me know if there's any issue. Let me share the screen as well. Just hold on. Right. And now I think you should be able to see the screen as well, which has the today's PowerPoint. So let's wait for 2-3 minutes and then we'll get started, guys. Okay, in the meantime, guys, if you can just take a minute and introduce yourself quickly, I can unmute all of you. So if you can just talk about yourself, like, what's your educational background, what you're doing currently, and if you have some idea, why CFA. So mute yourself, guys. I'm unmuting you from my side. And if you want to talk, you can unmute and you can talk. So any of you can start. Sakshi, Gaurav, put yourself on mute if you're not talking. Okay, so we'll start with who wants to start? A brief introduction, and then I can introduce myself, and then we can get started, guys. Any volunteers? Well, let's do this way, okay? If you want, if you're not comfortable, you can just type your introduction, and then I can read it out for everybody else's reference. Just like couple of lines with your name, with your educational qualification, and what you're doing currently. And why CFA, if you have an idea about that. Okay, guys. So we have got Rahul. He has done MBA in finance and currently working with Ocwen Financial. Thanks, Rahul. Welcome to the session.
Hello.
Hi, Sairam. Yeah.
Good afternoon, Ansh. My name is Sairam Gupta, and recently qualified as a chartered accountant in November 2020. And
Okay.
I was keenly looking into positions in private equity related, valuation related aspects. And currently, I was looking for the job in that area. And with respect to CFA, I was actually for me, as per me, I was thinking of CFA will give in-depth knowledge into what I have learned from particular subject of strategic finance management in CA final. So,
Mhm.
give in-depth knowledge like how valuations will happen and how mergers and acquisitions uh, and these aspects may it will CFA will cover. I think as per me, I was thinking in that way. Yeah.
Very good. Thanks, Sai, and welcome to the session. And appreciate that you have that much clarity that why you want to go for CFA because many of us did not have it. So
Right.
that's great. Welcome. So we'll talk about that. Also, we have got Ibrahim. He has done his MBA in finance, working with investment company for past 2.5 years. He wants to explore more in the investment field, so he thinks CFA would help him in the investment sector. Great. Maybe last couple of people, if you want to quickly introduce yourself, and then I can introduce myself, and then we can get going from there. So I'll take next two on a first come first serve basis. Gaurav, you want to go ahead?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gaurav.
Good up. Oh, no, sorry.
Yeah, Gaurav. Gaurav, there's lots of background noise. So I'll put you on mute for the time being and let me know when you're ready. Okay, then we have got Shobhit, just entered his graduation and wants to know what all is there in CFA course for him to learn. Okay, so Shobhit is at a very exploratory stage at this stage, and which makes complete sense because he has got time at his hand. He's just in the first year of graduation. Nice, Shobhit, and glad that you are becoming serious about your post graduation so early in your career, which is so great. Thank you. So, guys, so let me introduce myself. This is Ansh. I've done my graduation from Delhi University. I've done my MBA in finance. I've done my CFA. So, I've cleared all the three levels in the first attempt. Working as an investment banker from past 13 years now. So, I've been in the sell side, I've been in the buy side. I've worked with like some of the big bulge investment banks. And I've been associated with EduPristine for some time now, and I generally take classes for CFA, financial modeling, and financial risk management. So that's broadly about me. So what we'll do today is, the agenda for today's class would be, we'll talk about CFA program a lot. So maybe, I'll spend 20-25 minutes on that. Maybe for like 5 to 10 minutes, we'll talk about EduPristine and what EduPristine has to offer. And then I'm sure, there will be some course related question. For example, when the course is starting, what is the fees for the course, who to pay, how to pay. So for those things, there's an admin team who takes care of it. So I'll give you the contact information for them. And then we'll open it up for question and answer, right? Just like last introduction from Shivangi, currently pursuing bachelor's in financial markets and wants to pursue CFA because she wants to excel in financial field. Great, Shivangi. Thank you very much. So guys, let's start with CFA. And if you got any question, guys, maybe hold on to it till I do the first part, which is talk about CFA program. And then if you got any question about CFA program, you can ask me. Then I'll tell you about what EduPristine has to offer, and then you can ask me any question about that. So let me complete each of the agenda, and then you can ask me question related to that agenda. And towards the end, we'll have a time for question and answer for you to ask any question you might have, right? So guys, first of all, like when people talk about CFA, it's very important because it has got the global recognition. So let's say if you do CA or you do MBA from IIM Bangalore or IIM Ahmedabad, they are like the gold standards when you're in India. But if you go outside India, maybe they do not have the equal value. So this is where the CFA stands apart because it's like a US course. It has got a global recognition because everybody is writing the same exam and they know the difficulty of exams and they know the preparation required for the exam and they know what people are capable of doing if they've cleared these exams. So that gives you a lot of career advantage. Another important thing, guys, is that given this is a US course, and once you start going through the curriculum, most of the topics, I cannot say all of the topics, but most of the topics are very practical. So they do not require to mug up, and most of these things you'll use in your day-to-day life. And then, it has the advantage of its alumni. So in this case, guys, who can write CFA? So if you want to write your CFA Level 1, you should be in the final year of graduation. So if you are in the first year or second year of graduation, you cannot write CFA. So the earliest requirement is that you are in the final year of graduation. And the passport is mandatory as an ID proof. Now, guys, recently they have changed the exam pattern. Like Level 1 used to happen only twice in a year, but now they're conducting it 4 times in a year. Level 2, they're conducting it 2 times in a year. So, that way, if you want to, so there are 3 levels. You can clear all the 3 levels in 18 months. Provided that you do not have any gap, you keep taking it one after another, and you keep clearing them in the first attempt. So the shortest time duration to clear all the 3 exams, Level 1, Level 2, and Level 3, would be around 1.5 years. Now, these are the topics which you'll be covering in Level 1, Level 2, and Level 3. So the topics remain same, but the weightage do change. So the first topic, guys, so I'll just focus on Level 1. It's about ethics. You can call it like, that boring subject, which is there in each and every exam, but more than being a theoretical or a boring topic, it has got lots of significance because once you do CFA and the kind of job you will get into, you'll be managing money for a layman individual. So it's a profession, just like a doctor, right? When let's say if I'm not keeping good and let's say, I've got some medical issues, I go to a doctor. I blindly trust doctor when doctor tells me that, I need this surgery. I don't have the capability, I don't have the intellectual to sense check or to validate whether that surgery is required or not. I simply trust the doctor and go with what the doctor says. So in this case also, guys, so that's what profession is, like you are responsible because people trust you with their life, with their money, with everything. So this is the way, like even CFA or finance is considered to be a profession because may not be the life of people, but you are being trusted with the money which has been earned by the layman people with lots of efforts. So in this case, guys, you'll see like in the financial world, all the regulators are becoming very strict, and you do any violation, you'll be fined heavily. So that way, guys, don't think like this is a theoretical subject. This is the need of the hour. And especially in the US, they are following it very strictly. And India is not far behind. Then if you want to do any analysis, you should know quants, like how to do the valuation, how to do the, sorry, not the valuation, but how to do the standard deviation, correlation, regression, all of that we'll study in quants. Economics is must. So in economics, guys, we do both microeconomics and macroeconomics. Financial reporting analysis is more about understanding all the financial statements, like what is income statement, what is balance sheet, what is cash flow statement. But guys, it's very different from what we do in BCom or in your CA. The difference here is that it's finance, it's not commerce. So we do not bother about how to prepare financial statements. We bother about how to analyze financial statements. So, finance starts where the accounting ends. So accountant has done his or her work to prepare the accounts. So as a finance guy, you'll start analyzing and start understanding those accounts. So CFA is all about finance. There's no commerce into it. There's no accounts into it. Corporate finance, we are going to discuss some of the ways by which you make investment decision, like which project to take, where to borrow the money from, and all of that. So these are enablers. If you understand all of this, you can decide that where you should be putting your money and clients' money. So where can you put money? You can put money in the equity market, stock market. You can buy the bonds and debentures, which is nothing but the fixed income. You can invest money into futures and options, which is nothing but derivatives. Or you can invest it somewhere else, like real estate, commodities, private equity, hedge fund, all of that. So that's alternative investment. So these are called asset classes where the money can be invested into. But how will you decide where to invest or not? For that, you need these enablers. And once you do all of that, you become a portfolio manager. And this itself is a topic in itself, because if you know how to invest, if you know where to invest, still you need some broad idea to do portfolio management. So guys, eventually once you go into level 3, portfolio management becomes 40% of the weightage. Because in this case, the whole idea is that you become a portfolio manager and you know end to end that how to manage clients' money. For each level, whether it's level 1, level 2, level 3, you need 250 to 350 hours. Guys, don't go with 250. I'll go with 350. Because if you do 250, you are as good as others. But if you want to beat others, you want to make it 350 hours. So, technically we are talking about 1,000 hours for all the 3 levels combined. So as I told you that in February this year, CFA has moved to the computer-based exam. So it used to be a paper-based exam till last year, but from February, just a couple of months back, they conducted their computer-based exam for the very first time. So in this case, guys, it's just like your GMAT exam. They will give you a time period, like, okay, the exams will be held from 20th of May till 5th of June. So in those 15 days, you can select a date, you can select a venue, and on that particular date, on that particular venue, you can go to that center and write your exams. There will be 180 questions that has to be completed in 135, sorry, there will be 180 questions in the morning and in the afternoon. So guys, we are talking about 90 questions in the morning, 90 questions in the afternoon. So level 1 will have 2 sessions. Level 2 will have 2 sessions. Level 3 will have 2 sessions. One in the morning, one in the afternoon. So the morning session is for 2 hours, 15 minutes. Afternoon session is for 2 hours, 15 minutes. Total, we are talking about 4.5 hours. If you convert that into minutes, it's 270 minutes. In those 270 minutes, you have to crack 180 questions. So roughly we are talking about 90 seconds or 1.5 minutes per question. Questions are multiple type, no negative marking. So it's important that you attempt each and every question. You if you pass your exam in February, sorry, February is already gone. So let's say if you pass your exam in May, you can write your level 2 in the month of January next year. Now, guys, CFA gives you the score, whether it's less than 50%, 51 to 70%, or more than 70%. So they do not give you exact mark. They give you a range, whether you have come in this range, that range, or this range. And as I told you, like, what are the two key things? So if you look at level 1, which are the biggest topic, which are the topics with the maximum weightage? Ethics, and the second one is FRA. So if you do these two topics well, that gives you lots of leverage in the exam. But guys, there's no sectional cutoff. So, it's all about that across all the topics, the people who get the maximum score are the people who will pass. The exams will happen in most of the cities, guys, whether it's Mumbai, Kolkata, Bangalore, Chennai, Ahmedabad, Delhi, Pune, Bhopal. So like all the tier 1 and tier 2 cities will have the centers. So that's not a problem. So you can look at the details, like when the exams are going to be held. So as I told you, level 1 will be in May, August, November, or again next year, February. See, for 2022, again, it will be February, May, August, and November for level 1. Now, guys, when it comes to study material, there are 3 options. Sorry. Just give me 1 second, guys. Just give me 1 second, guys. Yeah. So when it comes to study material, there are 3 key choices. So one is you can, once you register for the exams, you'll get the material from CFA Institute itself. So I'll call it CFA curriculum, which is given by the institute. You can call it like the core material. But the issue with CFA curriculum, guys, it's pretty detailed. So maybe there will be like 3,000 pages. And if you study that, the number of hours it will take you is like at least 600 hours. But if you do this, though it's going to take you longer hours, but the benefit is that it's going to cover 100% of the syllabus, and it will make your concepts very clear because you're getting into detail for each and everything. What many people do is like there are some reference material, like for example, Swayzer. In case of Swayzer, number of pages might be like 1400, and that can be done in like almost half the time. It can be done in 350 hours. The good thing is like, you spend almost half the time and still it covers like 90 to 95% of the syllabus. But obviously, like on the losing side, your concepts will be clear, but it may not be like ultra clear. So guys, this is like the balancing act. Now, what many people do is they get too excited and they start with curriculum, but they are not able to give 600 hours. And towards the, like just before the exam, they're able to complete only half the syllabus. So have they put 300 hours? Yes. But they put this 300 hours in CFA curriculum, and in 300 hours, they are able to complete only half the curriculum. So rather than that, I would prefer to be in this category, that spend those 300 hours in Swayzer and complete your syllabus. So if you can spend 600 hours, go with this. But if you think you can't, go with this. And for level 1, Swayzer is enough. Level 2 we'll discuss once we get there. But for level 1, if you do Swayzer, you can easily pass the exam. Then obviously, in terms of exam, you cannot carry your City 500 calculator, or you cannot carry your scientific calculator. CFA allows you only 3 calculators in the exam. One is B Texas Instrument BA2 Plus. The other one is BA2 Professional. And this is one HP12C. Sorry. And there's another calculator which is HP12C. So guys, I've not seen anybody using HP12C for some reason, I don't know. And most of the people use this or this calculator. Both of them are similar. The only thing is like this is a plastic body. This is a metallic body. This might cost you like 3.5K. This will cost you maybe around 5K. It's very similar, you know, like the process and everything is similar. It's just like the build is different. So it's up to you, you know, like which one you want to buy. And the same calculator will be useful for the next 3 levels. And even after your CFA, it will be useful. So I think it's a good investment to make. Now let's talk about money, right? Like if you take up your exams, how much is going to cost you? So let's say if you go for May exams, now the early deadline is already gone for May, but let's say if you talk about August, even for August, the early deadline is gone. So let's talk about November, right? So for November, if you register before May, so, you know, like if you register within 1 month, you pay $450 as a registration fees, which is one time, and you pay $700 as an exam registration fees. So guys, let's talk about money here. So in this case, the amount of money you'll be paying is, one is registration fees. You pay one time. Whenever you register, you pay $450, and that is not going to change. And that's only one time. Then for each and every exam, so for level 1 exam, you have to pay fees. You have to pay fees for level 2 exam. You have to pay fees for level 3 exams. Now, if you register early, you pay $700. If you register late, you pay $1,050. Sorry, $1,000, not 1,050, it's 1,000. So I'm assuming that maybe one time you'll do early registration, sometimes you'll miss it. So let's call it 2 times you do early registration and 1 time you'll do a late registration. So this is the amount you'll pay to the institute, 2850. So this is the amount you'll pay to the institute in USD terms. And if you convert this into INR, let's multiply by 75. 2,13,750 is what you'll pay to the institute. So this is the institute fees. Now over and above, if you add a calculator, let's add 4,000 rupees for calculator, which is also one time. Then if you go with curriculum books, the soft copy, you don't have to pay anything extra. But if you buy Swayzer books, generally they will cost like 1,500. So I'm doing 1,500 into 3 for all the 3 levels combined. So that's your 4,500. That's your Swayzer notes. So these are like must without coaching. So without coaching, if you go, this is the amount you pay. With coaching, guys, I don't know. Let's say, I don't know how much they're charging, and I'm not the best person to know that. But let's say, you know, they're charging 35,000. I don't know, but just confirm. So, you know, that would mean that if you go for coaching for all the 3 levels, there'll be another 1 lakh rupees. So the total cost with coaching would be around, what did I do? Yeah, sorry. So the total cost with coaching would be 3,27,000. But this is assuming that you clear each and every exam in the first attempt. If you do not clear the exam in the first attempt, this examination fees has to be paid again. So this 450 is one time. This $700 or $1,000, depending on when do you register, is to be paid every time whenever you register for the exams. So if you rewrite the same exam 3 times, you have to pay that money 3 times. Now, thanks for that question. There are some scholarships. So, for example, CFA offers scholarship for women. They offer scholarship for underprivileged. They offer scholarship for many other people, like who are into different fields. So go to CFA website, and there are different categories of scholarship, and feel free to apply wherever you think you are eligible for it. Bachwani, I think, sorry, Kajal, I'll unmute you. I think you had a question. Do you want to ask that question, Kajal? You raised your hand. Okay, let me know when you're ready. Let's continue going on in the meantime. So guys, this is how your exam score will come. So in this case, this dotted line, if you get a score above this dotted line, you pass. So, use this one, the center line. So if you get it below this line, you have failed. If you get it above this line, you have passed. This is like a very bad score. This is a very good score. So in this case, if it's just above this line, you pass. If it's below this line, you fail. But if it's on this line, it's very difficult to know whether you passed or failed. So you have to look at your actual result. So they'll give you this chart, and also they'll tell you whether you passed or failed. But don't expect any marks that, out of these 225 questions or out of these 180 questions, you got this much score. They don't give you score. They give you a chart, and they give you a one-word result, pass or fail. So either if you got such a result, you know that you passed very comfortably. With this, you know that you just missed, you just passed, you just failed by, maybe a couple of marks. Here, guys, it's all luck. Maybe you passed by 1 mark or you failed by 1 mark, because it's exactly on the line. So the reason they give you this chart is so that, for example, if this is the line here, you know that you missed it slightly. But if the line is like closer to here or like below this line, then you know that you have failed miserably. But guys, they don't give you the exact marks, and that's like many people complain about. Let's say if you do CFA, where you can get a job, you can get a job in investment companies, you can get investment to private equities, brokers, institutes, consulting, educational firms. So there are so many avenues, guys. Generally, I call CFA to be like a general MBA, that after doing it, you got so many options open. What kind of jobs you can get into? You can become a financial modeling analyst, you can become a research analyst, you can do equity research, you can do credit research. You might get into a bank, you might become a fund manager, you can become an indexing analyst. So guys, there's so many avenues. You can become a project manager, finance manager, you can become part of pricing. So there's no end to it. It's a very open course. Keep your options open, and you have got everything under your reach. What kind of companies? In case of India, there are like some of the big financial institutes like Citibank, CRISIL, Deutsche, Goldman, HSBC, ICICI, Morgan Stanley. All of these companies have their branches in India, and they generally hire people. So this is broadly about CFA. Do you want me to just cover EduPristine part first, and then we can open it for question and answer? Or if you want, you can ask me a couple of questions you might have, and then we can get into EduPristine. So I should not take like more than 10 minutes on EduPristine. Maybe let's finish that, so that then we can open it for the question and answer in one go. Is that fine, guys? Cool. So now we are shifting the gear from CFA. Now we are getting into EduPristine, like what EduPristine has to offer. So if you take coaching with EduPristine, guys, you will get 24 sessions of 5 hours each. So if you do 24 into 5, we are talking about 120 hours of classroom training. Now, Obviously, like in some cities, the classrooms are not going because of COVID-19. So in that case, it will be online live training. It's not like, you'll be given the recorded session. It's like live, like the way we are talking right now. Now, whether it's classroom or live training, you'll get 24 sessions of 5 hours each, which makes it 120 hours. And those sessions, guys, obviously, like there will be a faculty who will be with you, and there'll be like 20-30 people in each and every batch. Some batches are even smaller than that, so that everybody has the opportunity to ask question, and we can customize the session as per the requirement of the batch. uh, Generally the timings can be 9 to 2 p.m, 9 in the morning till 2 p.m in the afternoon, or it can be 3 p.m to 8 p.m in the evening. There are batches which are Saturday only batch. There are batches which are Sunday only batch. There are batches which are Saturday plus Sunday only. Depending on, like there are some people who are working on Saturday, so they will go for a Sunday only batch. There are people who are working on Saturday morning first half, so they can go for 3 to 8 batch. So there are lots of flexibility, multiple batches going on. So we try to do the entire curriculum in those 120 hours. But obviously, like you have to do your own self-study, but we'll make your self-study easy by doing all the complicated stuff during the classroom. And after we do that, just before the exam, we do a crash course, which is just like a revision and practice of questions, which makes you ready for the exams. And guys, whether it's a classroom or the online live training, the recorded sessions will be available for you to watch it. Let's say if you miss a class, or you were in the class but you could not get understood a particular topic, in that case the best thing is to ask during the class itself. But let's say you completely missed it, so in that case you can see the recording to get a better idea of it. So why EduPristine, guys? Now they give you, like I won't go into detail about others, but they give you flexibility of 1 year validity. So let's say you register for February exam, and then because of some reason you could not write the exam, or because of maybe you failed the exam, but because you paid the fees to EduPristine, you can take the training in next 1 year any number of times without paying anything extra. So that gives you a 1 year validity. Also, like I've seen it in many cases that though people have the intellectual, though the people have knowledge, but let's say they did not have the communication skill, or they do not know how to get into an interview, or maybe they do not know the process how to crack the interviews. So in this case, EduPristine also makes you equipped with some soft skill training as an add-on, so that you become job ready. Because most of the time, like the reason we are doing these courses is because we want to get into a job which pays well. Now, most of the time, like the faculty who will be sitting on this side of the computer will be very experienced one. So let's say if I'm taking a classes for CFA particular topic, because I'm not just taking classes because I've done my CFA, but because I know the subject, I have the experience in that subject, and I love the subject. And guys, there's a feedback. Now I know that feedback, when people talk about, they say, oh, who cares about feedback? Nobody, just it's just a formality. But at EduPristine, every time we do a session, each and everyone rates the faculty on a parameter of 1 to 5, 5 being the best and 1 being the worst. Now in this case, if my average score across all the parameters, across all the people, is, let's say, less than 4, be sure that you won't see my face ever again. And the average feedback from the students over the last few months has been 4.73 out of 5. So guys, there's no chance of screwing up, because if I get a bad score, it means I'm not good enough to take your classes. So I should be mature that I come for the classes if and only if I think that I'm good at it. But let's say I'm being immature, I'm being greedy, are paisa mil raha kar lo yaar. In that case, you should be mature, and without having any sympathy, give the score, which I deserve. But the only thing is, it's just if out of 15 people, one of you don't like the faculty, that doesn't matter, because what matters is the average score. They give you a placement assistance. How? They help you in making your resume, preparing for the interview, and also they give you the references. Okay, this company is hiring for this particular role, and you can contact this person so that it expedites the process. EduPristine is also providing trainings to lots of the financial institutes, also some of the education institutes like ISB, Hyderabad, IIMs, IITs. If you want to enroll for the coaching classes with EduPristine, you can make an online payment, NEFT payment, check payment, or you can pay through Paytm. But guys, when the batch is starting, how much you have to pay, what is the process for it? I won't be the best person. For that, you can contact Gaurav. His contact number is 70458 78148. I'll repeat, 70458 78148. Or you can send an email to this email ID. But even before you do that, mostly you'll get a call from the institute in the next 48 to 72 hours asking whether you're interested or not, and to resolve any query related to the timing, payment, when is the batch starting, and all of those details. But for every other question, I'm here. Like why CFA, anything related to CFA, I'm here. So except all the admin question, guys, I'll be happy to answer any question you might have. Yes, you can go ahead.
Yeah, with respect to the success rate of these levels in CFA 1, 2, 3, and also how many students like passing out of this course, like what is the requirement of industry, and now it was in surplus or it was equal or
That's a very good question, Sai. So let me do it step by step. So in level 1, generally 40% people pass. In level 2, there are like 45% people pass. And level 3, roughly 50% people pass. So let's say if there are 1,000 people appearing for level 1, so out of these 1,000 people, roughly 40% people will pass. Oh, sorry, what did I do? So maybe 400 people will pass. These 400 people will get into level 2. And of these 400 people, 180 people will pass. And of these 180 people, they will go for level 3 and 90 people will pass. So guys, generally we are talking about if you start taking your exam today, by the end of the 3 levels, only 10% people make it to the other side, which is a very big number. Because in case of MBA, only top 1% people get into good colleges. And Sai, you are a chartered accountant, right? If I had to do the same thing for, let's say, CPT, IPCC, and finals, CPT will be how much? 50, 60?
it's around 35 or 40.
Okay, 40, sorry. And IPCC?
It was around 20%.
Yes. And what is finals?
It's somewhere around 8 to 15 it would be.
Okay, 10%, right?
Yeah.
So the passing percentage in case of CA, guys, is less than 1%. So that way, like it's a much easy course because the passing percentage are very high.
Yeah, okay.
The second question, Sai, like, how much is the demand in the industry for this syllabus and how much is the supply? So the supply, these percentage don't change. 40, 45, 50%, they're like pretty stable. Some year it will be 42%, some year it will be 44%, but more or less it won't change much. But what has happened over the years, like, this 1,000 has become 5,000 over the years, right? So that means like 5 times more people are there in the society to do the same job. Now, the problem here is, like the question you're asking me, like, is a very difficult one to answer because how do you know the demand in the industry? Because these people do not just go for a single kind of a job.
Yeah.
There are thousands of jobs you can do. And when you talk about supply, you're not just competing with other CFA candidate. You're also competing with somebody MBA in finance. You're also competing with a CA. You're also competing with somebody who has done the Bachelor's of Commerce from a very good college. So you're also competing with, let's say, somebody who has done some other finance subjects. So it's not just like a very core subject. So if you had
Yeah.
asked me a question that if you do a course in agriculture,
Hmm.
MBA in agriculture industry, then maybe it'll be easy to answer your question because that's a very niche course and that's
Yeah.
a very niche industry.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. And one more question, sir. With respect to industry, so there were some of my friends who was doing this CFA. There
Hmm.
was some myth around them, like only the MBA graduates from IBs, like B schools with CFA or without CFA, will be into investment banking front end roles. Other than that, there would be less chances that even if you do CA and also the CFA, there would be less chances of going into front end roles of private equity or investment banking. Is it real or how the industry is working on that, sir?
Hmm. I'll tell you where that myth comes from, Sai, and that's again like a brilliant question. So now don't take it otherwise, but generally when we talk about CAs and CFAs, we say that okay, when it comes to technicals, they're excellent, right?
Yeah,
Now I know that in case of CA, they have started, integrating those like communication courses and the presentation courses as a part of the curriculum, and you
yeah,
have to do those trainings. But still, they do not focus enough on communication.
yes,
So maybe see it, maybe a little bit by doing those courses.
yes,
CFA nothing because you just have to read book and go and write the exam. Nobody is going to ask you question. You do not have to present anything.
yes,
But when it comes to MBA, technicals I will say okay-ish, but communication lots of focus, right? You do a
okay,
group presentation, you do this and you do that. So this is where the myth comes from, that for any front end investment banking role, you need two things. You need technicals, but that's not enough. You also need the communication skill.
yes,
So if you do MBA plus CFA, you got mix of both, right? You
yes,
got the technicals from your CFA, you got the communication from your MBA. If you do CA and MBA, again, you got a mix of both.
yes,
So many people think that if you do CA and CFA, okay, you're excellent at technicals, but what about your communication?
yes,
And if you go to my hometown, like you'll see many people like very good at studies, and they've become like they've got rank in CAs. But maybe because like born and brought up in a small town, the communication skill won't be so strong. And most of the time, when you're in a front end role, it's just not that you talk to people in India, you have to also talk to people across the globe.
okay,
So this is where the perception comes from. So my point here is that if you're good at communication with or without MBA,
okay,
you should be fine.
yeah. Thank you, sir. Thanks. I got it.
Okay. So I'll take some other questions. When should we join the coaching for preparation? So Shobit, it depends a lot on what's your schedule. For example, if you're working full time from Monday to Friday, you're working for 12 hours a day. I'll say at least 6 to 7 months before. But let's say if you did not have any job, you're not doing any full time education, and Monday to Sunday you got all the free time, then I'll say maybe 4 to 5 months before. But if you like, let's say if you're married, you got kids and you got a full-time job, I'll say maybe like 9 months before. So all you have to do is just target those 400 hours. So I'll break it down, okay, for you. So you have to spend 400 hours. So let's say don't do any daily analysis, do a weekly analysis. So let's say I'll do a couple of scenarios. Not married, no job, no full-time education. For these kind of people, yeah, from Monday to Sunday, every day I can easily spend 5 hours per day. It means I can spend 40 hours per week. So this is the number of hours per week I can spend is 40 hours. So if you want to spend 400 hours, how many weeks do you need? You just need 400 divided by 40. You need 10 weeks to complete your preparation. So guys, 3 months are enough for you. But let's say somebody who is married, job, full-time, and a hectic life schedule already. Maybe for that person, Monday to Friday, that person can't spend any time. On Saturday, Sunday, maybe that person will be able to take 5 hours on Saturday and 5 hours on Sunday maximum. So the maximum time this person can spend is 10 hours per week. So in this case, for this person, 400 divided by 10 hours per week would mean 40 weeks, which is almost equal to 9 months. So you can do your calculation, guys, but this is how I'll go about it. I hope that answers your question, Shobit. Are there colleges in India or abroad which offers MBA integrated with CFA? Yes, Caroline, very nice question. There are lots of MBA colleges which are integrating with CFA, and I've heard about a couple of them, but unfortunately, I did not have a list of these colleges. But if you do Google, or maybe if you put this in a particular forum, you'll get an answer to this question. But yes, there are colleges in India and abroad which has an integrated MBA and CFA course. What would be the minimum earning potential after completing level 1 CFA? For level 1 CFA, see, if it was so easy to get a job of, let's say, 10 lakh rupees, everybody will just do level 1 and get a job. So I would don't get too optimistic about getting a job after level 1. So level 2 is a minimum requirement. So I would say that after level 2, also it's not like a guarantee that you'll get a job. Also, you require a bit of luck, and you want to make sure that the market conditions are good. So if the job market is good, you got the luck on your side, you'll get a decent job after level 2. But level 3, guys, is the ultimate. So after level 3, even if the market conditions are bad, even if you're not lucky enough, you should get a job. But expecting a job after level 1, I would say you are being too optimistic. So I don't want to give you any false hope, but if you get a job after level 1, you have to be lucky. I'm pursuing last year of engineering. Can I do CFA now and then MBA in finance after getting some experience in field? Yes, I think that's a very good plan. If you're into final year of engineering, start doing your CFA now. So in the next couple of years, get some work experience, complete your CFA, which gets you an entry to a very good MBA college, because MBA college will give value to your experience and also will give you a value because you already done your CFA. So that sounds like a very good plan. How do students after completing CFA level 3 search for jobs if that student is not an EduPristine student? Yeah, so it's not like, you have to be EduPristine student to get a job in the market. One thing is a reference. Then you got lots of social medias, right? For example, you got LinkedIn. You can apply through. So I'll just like note down a few options. So LinkedIn is one. There's another website called I Am Jobs. The Naukris and Monsters guys are still, like though they are traditional ones, but they're still active today. Naukri and Monster. And then you target companies, and each company will have an option to apply for jobs. So just like through your friends or by going to the company websites, be up to date that which company is hiring for a particular role you want to get into. When can we register if you are willing to give level 1 in graduation 3rd year? So for that, Shobit, you have to be, I think you should have completed the 2nd year before you can register for your level 1 exam. Shivangi, on your question that you can do CFA level 2 after having job for a year with CFA level 1. No, that's not a requirement. You can do CFA level 2 as soon as you're done your CFA level 1. You don't need any job experience per se. So the only requirement for level 1 is that you should be in the final year of graduation. The only requirement for CFA level 2 is that you should have finished your graduation and you should have done your CFA level 1. Does CFA level require any work experience? So to do CFA, you don't require any work experience, but to get a CFA charter, there are three things you require. One is you should clear all the three levels. You need 4 years of work experience. When I say 4 years of work experience, they call it 3 to 4 years actually. So this can be anytime after your graduation. This can be before your CFA, after your CFA, during your CFA, but this should be after your graduation in finance field or in a field which is related to CFA. And then also on a, you have to pay annual membership. So to pay an annual membership of 10,000 rupees. So guys, don't bother about this part because most of the time the company will pay for it. So let's say if you're working with KPMG and if you want to get a membership for CFA, most of the time KPMG will pay for it. I'm just giving an example. I'm not sure whether KPMG pays for it or not, but I'm just saying that most of the time the companies pay for it. So all you have to do is clear all the three levels and 3 to 4 years of work experience. Can we know somewhat brief about your career in investment bank and roles taken and difficulties faced? Okay, I can talk about it. So like I started in a very junior role. Now the difficulties I faced, as we were discussing some time back, again coming from a small town, my communication skills were horrible. So I got a very junior role, and that too back end. So the payments was very small, but the only thing is like that was my passion, and maybe this was the only thing I could do. I was not good at science. I could not get into any other role. The only thing which I think I could have done, I could do something, was finance. So you can call it like lack of any other option, lack of any other choice, and my passion for this worked hard. And I think it took me 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
And all my effort was on communication, and that I really struggled. Even after my MBA in finance, it cannot just change you in 2 years, right? So when I got into my MBA, maybe I could not speak like even a single sentence in English. Does not mean that once I come out of MBA college, I'll be like, talking all flowery English. So that helped me a lot, but that's like something which I focused more and more on.
Okay.
Another thing which I faced in this industry, guys, it's finance is an industry where it's long working hours, but I think long working hours has become a thing for most of the organization in most of the roles now. But generally, I would say that finance profiles are a bit more tasking. The reason being that the pressure is a bit higher and the workload is a bit higher. It depends from company to company, role to role, people to people, but still on an average, the job pressure will be a bit higher. But on accordingly, the bonuses are even higher. So that's the positive side. So there are some companies in some years, if your annual salary is, let's say, 20 lakh, the bonus can be more than 20 lakhs.
Okay.
So next one is I'm a qualified in Masters in Design and MBA Investment Banking with 25 years in industry in international marketing and academic teaching, 10 years. I'm interested in financial sector. Is there any scope for me at this age after completion of my CFA? Wow. So heads off to you, Gaurav, like in the sense that you are still, focusing on your career. And as I say, it's never too late. So more than anything, maybe, if you do this course, you can use your, knowledge to manage your own portfolio, if not for others. You can help your relatives and friends. So, maybe we can talk more offline about it and we can take it there. What is the significance of a CFA charter? So see, technically you clearing all three levels means that you have the knowledge. If you have 3 to 4 years of work experience, Means you have the knowledge, you have the experience. Now for the charter, they also require this 10,000 rupees. But guys, most of the time, like, when we hire people, even if they do not have a CFA charter, but they say that they've cleared all the 3 exams and they've got the required experience. For us, that person is as good as a CFA charter, because we know that once we hire that person, the company will pay for the membership fees, and that person will become a CFA charter on day 1 of joining the firm. If I opt for CFA and cleared level 1 and level 2, and for any reason I did not complete level 3, would it be still beneficial and add in my career for any good investment role, say in equity analyst or investment banker? Okay, that's a good question. So guys, if you do only level 1 and leave this course, I would say don't do this course. It's not worth it. Because to do level 1, you would have already paid $450 and $700. And just after level 1, as I told you, you did not get much value out of this course. So if you're starting with this course, keep an objective that you'll do all the 3 levels. But in the worst case, at least level 2. But just don't start with level 2 in your mind. Start with level 3. But let's say because you could not clear level 3 even after multiple attempts, or because of some other reasons you can't do it, okay, level 2. But level 1 does not make any sense. I cannot be more blunt. But if your objective is just to do level 1, it's not worth it. Don't go for this course. Okay, any last 2 questions, guys? Sorry, we are just running ahead of time. So people who do not have any question, feel free to log out. Otherwise, I can take last 2 questions, if any. When to register ourselves on CFA website for level 1? Again, it depends, Shobit. So for example, first of all, decide that when you want to write your exams. So let's say if you want to write your exams in August or November, then you can go. So, like as of today, I don't think you can register for May anymore. It's already too late. So either you can register for August or you can register for November. If you register for August, you would not get that early bird discount. You'll have to pay the full $1,000. But if you register for November, you'll get some $300 discount. But again, like what's more important is that you complete this syllabus as soon as possible. So I know like $300 is a big amount, but if you think it's not too big for you, I'll still suggest like, if you can do it in August rather than November. Any last question, guys? Okay, thank you guys. And thank you very much. Just note down these details in case you did not get any question. So do not get a call back from the institute. You can call this number or you can send an email to this number. Oh, sorry, what am I saying, guys? You can either call this number or you can send an email to this particular mail ID. But most probably you'll get a call from the institute in the next 2 to 3 days with, to see whether you're interested or not. Thank you guys, and all the best for whatever choice you make with respect to your CFA. Thank you guys.